Hi, it's Kelsey from Junk Journal Magic. My friend is talking about making some micro journals. I made one for her and sent it to her fairies as a gift. And she found all these matchboxes and is talking about making some of these on her own channel. This one, I just finished putting it together, as in sewing it, giving it a cover, tying a couple beads on the strings hanging off the spine. I haven't done hardly anything to it, but it's just supposed to give you an idea that the trick for this is making it small enough. Oop, that's the wrong one. Is that the right one? What am I doing? Making one small enough that it fits inside the little box and you can close it. So basically what you do is you get a matchbox. Whatever size the matchbox is determines the size of your junk journal. You can dump all the matches into a baggie and save them for those days you might need a match. You'll still need something to scratch them on. So one thing you could do if you buy a dozen of these boxes of matches at Walmart is save one box with the matches, so you're never up a creek without a paddle. But for today, you only need one box, and what you need to do is fit a little book into the box before you even start. That way you know exactly what's going to fit. And I start with all of my trays of papers. You know, you've seen people with random trays full of stuff, offcuts, images, little bits, stamps, whatever it is, you know, all these pieces of paper. And I dig through them and I find what will work in my mind. And usually when I'm making the base book, I don't worry about what's on the pages, because you can turn it into anything you want later, which is what's a lot of fun. So I grab a bunch of little papers and I cut them. First of all, I take one piece of paper like this one and I fold it and I fit it in here, and I keep trimming it with my trimmer, like crunch, crunch in it until it's the right size. And then I actually wanted to trim this down a teeny little bit just so it wasn't too long, because I wanted to fit in here and have a little room. And then you work through all your papers. You can find tiny little bits. You can take big pieces and cut them down into pieces that you like. I've got some pages that were something I sprayed on a piece of paper, like I was trying to color a card, mixed media type stuff. And this was all the splatter that hit the paper underneath, protecting my surface that I was working on. I have some ledger paper. I have a little piece that I have stamped on before, and it has flowers and things. Here's a little piece of tissue. I think this was Tim Holtz, but it's just a tiny piece. It's leftovers. And here's a piece that was dyed pink. I want to say that was not avocado paper, but it was probably from Rit Dye. And this one is another piece where I just, when I was stamping things, I would take what was left of the paint on the stamp and stamp it on a piece of paper, and this was what was left over. So it makes, you know, one of those background sheets you can use for anything. Piece of page from a storybook, a piece of coloring book page. See, you can put anything in here. Here's a piece of music paper. The music part is not that big on this side of the page, but it's still there. Here's a tiny, a normal ticket. And then here is a butterfly on this piece of paper that I just folded in half, so you get half a butterfly on each page. And then this is a little piece. It's like a basket full of fruit and vegetables. And so it goes on, but basically you just fold them in half and make sure you have them where you want them, because when you sew this bad boy together, you don't want them all stuck at the bottom if they're short, because then you get this big thick corner down here, and up at the top it's real thin. So you want to kind of spread them around. I've already messed with that. But you You don't need to see me watch me do all that stuff because everybody does it, and that's pretty boring after a while. So there, we have our pages all ready. And then what you want to do is you want to cover the outside of your book and make a book cover. So since I have, you cover the outside of your Matchbox, not your book, and then make a book cover. So let's see, I have some paper. Will it wrap all the way around? No. So you need a bigger piece of paper. And you want to make sure, this is dictionary paper, you want to make sure the words exposed are nice words, not scary words. Like this one says huddle, and it was to gather together into a group, especially for warmth or out of fear. Chicks. See, that's cute for a nature journal. So let's see. I did. I found a piece of paper earlier, and it fit exactly. So what this piece of paper is something, an old book page. I like vintage book pages, and I especially like the ones that are blank. But sometimes I'll just go in and stamp on them. I have a whole box of stuff I've stamped over here. It's ridiculous, but most of those are offcuts. So this one, I'm going to try to see if I can get the deer to be visible, because that's cute. The deer's so cute. I like the deer. So what I think I'm going to do is maybe, oh, I could cover it all the way around. So see, you see the deer, and then when you turn it over, you see the hummingbird. I like that. There's a lot of overlap. That means we need to be careful to glue it really well. So let's get the messy glue stick out. Ugh. I hate allergy season. We've got the glue stick pretty good and thick on here. And then I also like to use, just for the fun of it, you just never know. Sometimes this is like the magic little bit that makes it all even better. It's a little bit of art glitter glue. And then we just start wrapping it. Oh gosh, I lost my little top. Creak, creak, creak. I get the hand-me-down office chair in the household, and mine creaks. So let's find the deer. We want the deer on top just because, whatever, that's my preference. So basically you just line it up and you kind of smooth it out pretty good. And I am going to wrap the deer because it will be underneath the bird on the other side, just so. We have a bird on one side, and the other side we have a deer. And that wasn't too difficult. No, nothing complicated. That's the fun part. A lot of my favorite artist, she does grunge with little children and bunnies. It's so cute. I'll have to show her stuff one day because it just amazes me. You can go watch her on YouTube, and she sells her stuff in Etsy. So, hey, if I can help her by telling everyone to go watch, maybe some people will love it so much they'll buy something from her and encourage her to make more. Okay, that's what you do with that. And I am inking this. I only ink it because I kind of want the edges to all blend together. I'm not inking it to get the grunge effect. That's not my goal here. But I want the edges to kind of disappear because there's paper, and then the box for the Matchbox, and I just want, or the edge for the Matchbox. I am not making sense. Okay, so here we've got this, and then I also go and I just ink this. Now I have wrapped paper around these things, the edges before, in and out, but to me that kind of bulks up the edge that slides, and I want this to move really well. So I'm not going to do that. You can do it if you want. But I do put a little image inside there. But that's basically inked. So we can move along. Then I want to make a book cover. Now I have looked and looked, and I wound up with this little image. What I did was I wrapped it around this little cluster of pages. And I marked on the other side of this image where I wanted to cut. because you could just open it up and mark with a pencil, right along the edge. And then I cut the top off, and I made sure that it was just the right size for this book. So all I have to do now, glued it down, just use glue stick, and then I went over and I sewed around the outside. I like my papers to be extra sturdy in the sense where I don't feel like they're going to peel apart. This was a piece of coffee dyed cardstock, and the one I made already that's in here was it was 3 layers of paper, and there's some music sheet on the inside. There was another piece of paper, dictionary paper underneath that, and it feels like cardstock now. You just glue stick them all together, and then you sew it through the machine, and then you cut it out. You've got a nice, cute little cover. So we've already done all that. We did the sewing, we glued, we made sure the base paper under the image is nice and thick and sturdy. So now I'm going to just trim it up, and I'll sew it on. This is so easy, it's ridiculous. Okay, the cardstock goes back in the bin for another day. So does this piece of paper. We've got this. I have some leftover cut off. What is this? Is it linen thread? It's not waxed. Whatever it is, it's not waxed. And I make sure that the cover and the pages are going in the right direction. See the images like this, and you can kind of flip through, and some of the pages might have an image, and you know it's right side up. Like here, the numbers are in the right direction for someone flipping through. So yeah, we got it in the right direction. I'm going to take my paper clip off that was holding the little pages together, and I'm going to clip the signature inside the cover. Okay, that's all you gotta do. And then I take my needle. This is a darning needle. Where did I put them? Over here. This is what I use mostly, my darning needles. But you can use other needles that are just as sturdy. You just have to find what you have that has a large enough eye for you to stick whatever cordage you're putting through it. So, okay, we're going to go right in the middle, and I'm going to make a hole. I'm going to push, 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 push. Not all the way through, because I want my strings on the outside. I don't want them on the inside of the book. So I'm going to come in from the outside through that hole that I just made, and I'm going to pull it through. There, just like that. And I'm going to make sure this piece doesn't come back through by tucking it under that little paper clip. So then I'm going to take this same needle and go right up here where it bends and make another hole. There we go. And it's going to go all the way through because I'm continuing to sew my signature together with the cover. So now I need, because the string's long, I'm not going through this way, but I'm going to pop a hole in down here. So I go put my needle where I want it, and I push it through. And this time we go back over here on the back side, and we go back through the hole that I just made. This is ridiculously simple. You could use your sewing machine, but there's a lot of pages in this little signature, and it's very thick. So I would say that might not be a good idea. So now I'm going to make sure I have enough room with my thread to turn my needle and go back through this center hole. And now that it's through this central hole, we're going to pull it through, and then we just have to tie a knot. And I tie square knots because that's the safest way to ensure your string stays exactly where you want it. Oh, good grief. Yeah. And after you play tug-of-war, I knew it would go through. There. Okay. Always put your needle back. Then you won't be stepping on it when you get up. That's a big deal at my house. Put the needle back. So now we're finished. We can take the paper clip off. And we just play. And the holes look huge and awful, but I go in and just push the paper back where it's supposed to go, and it's just fine. So you want to pull your string as tight as you can, and then you know how to make a square knot. You go over and under just the one direction, and then I turn it, and I go over and under the other direction. So each string, there's 2 strings, each string goes through the circle when you make a knot, just at a different time. So, okay, now we're done with that. Is that cute or what? There's a tree. And then on this side, there's a tree stump. And on this side, the tree stump is more in a field of grass with a little flying bird. It's on the back. That's the way images are. Sometimes you don't get the cutest one on the front, but I really like this with the burrow. So now we're going to do something to the string. These seed beads are the best thing ever. They're cute and tiny. Everyone sees these and you probably think, what am I going to do with those? Well, you can do this. Basically, this linen thread, I think it's linen, you just find a little bead. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Find a bead the color you like, and then you take your string, you kind of rub it between your fingers, and you get it all straight and twisted in one direction, and it goes right into the hole. It is that simple. It's too darn simple to use seed beads. Oh, let's do another one. Let's have yellow. Yellow, yellow. I've got orange right here. That's good. Well, yeah, I like the colors with that. Okay, so then we make a knot. You want to make sure your knot goes below the bottom of your book so your beads can hang down that far. Just cute, but say, okay, we're mimicking a large size, normal size book, okay? This is tiny. It's a micro. Micro is under 2.5 by 3.5. So if you were to set it on a shelf, you want your beads to hang past the bottom of the book so they don't get stuck under there and make it hard to move your book around. Now, I know this is never going to go on a shelf and have that problem, but it's still fun to do it that way. So let's put beads on this other side. I think I'm going to do blue. I want light blue. Did I get one? Yeah. Here's blue. And I think I want another orange one because I like the color with the cover. Orange looks really good with the cover down there. And I think I'm going to add, ooh, they have some earthy brown. Oh, that's perfect with that cover. So, okay, let's see. We're going to try to get the knot in the same location as the other string's knot. So I kind of put it where it is, and I hold my finger right there where the knot should be, and I just keep pulling that other end out of the knot, kind of like you're doing embroidery or something, and you're tying a knot on the back side of your work. Even when I hem pants by hand, you do that. Okay, it's going to be too long again, so let's go back this way. See if we can get it closer. This would be really cute with some tiny bells. I'm not going to get up and find them. I do have a die to make a matchbox. That's not long enough. I mean, short enough. I'll have to dig that out. I haven't used it because I had all these little matchboxes and I wanted to use up stuff to reclaim space in my craft room, because God knows I have too much stuff in here. Okay, I think that's closer. Almost. That's going to have to be close enough for now. But yeah, there we go. Oh, look, it's about the same length. So I'm just going to clip it there. So that's it with the seed beads. A few go a long way. And then I have about half of one of these in silver beads, seed beads. Okay, so we've got that done. We sewed in the pages. Should we do a quickie flip through? And after that, basically we go in and add tucks and pockets and flips This could be glued down to make just a pocket where you slide something in. And I have all these stamped bits, lots of bits. There's little critters. There's all sorts of things in here. But the only way I use them, the only way is if I'm digging through here and I pull a bunch out and put them into something, because I never remember what I have in my stamps. So I have to take all my offcuts, stuff like this. I have a big bag full of these. Usually when this gets full, I'll put all these bits of paper and things in there. And then I'll grab them all out, and for like 2 days, I'll just stamp all this stuff. It's just crazy how much I have that I can't remember I have. So just doing this and taking half a box, either the lid or the base, and filling it with all this stuff so I can dig through it, has made a huge difference in what I make. So, okay, we made the book. Now we need to add a few things. We can make cool pages. This could be a really cool kind of natural looking tag. And we just basically clip the corners off. Let's see, just like that. And the one thing that's true about making tiny journals is it takes just as long to make as it does to make a normal size journal. So if you were buying one from somebody, expect it to be an expensive piece of art. That's what I call mine. Most things I buy from people on YouTube who've had lots of lessons and they've taught me loads, and it's a way for me to have a piece of their art and then again to support them. So that's why I say, you know, when it takes just as long to make a tiny journal. I had to prep all this stuff even before I started the video. But yeah, they're so much fun to make. You could take something like a tag and put it right here and make a tuck. If you did that, it's a great idea, but it's just blending into the page because it's so pale. And I would take and ink the edges and then glue it down. Let's see. We have to make sure little beads are not in the way. And then I'm going to grab art glitter glue. Oh, this is shiny. Let's see. Maybe I want to scuff it up with something. Let me take the scissors. Here, I'll show you what I do. Is that just kind of scuff up the edge just a little. Because this is so tiny, if you get your Fabri-Tac out on this shiny paper, you're going to cover the whole back with glue by accident, because it always happens. So I like to scratch in through some of this shiny stuff, and then that allows the glue to bypass that layer and attach this card that's under there to that card. Yeah, that's card. So okie dokie. Here we go. So I just line it up, and then I hold it in place for just a little bit, because you know art glitter glue grabs really well. I love that stuff. And the little tip, I have never been able to use that little tip. Mine never stay on. Never. I don't know what people are doing. Mine doesn't work. And I've thrown 2 in the trash. But that doesn't matter to me. It's still working for me, just a different way. So we have lots of things here. I already put journal on the nature on the front of this one. I have junk journal here. It's a stamp. And I thought journal would be cute on these different journals. They are both going to be nature journals because, you know, hey, I roll that way. Thought this would be really cute, like if you opened it. I did this on Possum Patty's journal. I'll have to find the link of her flip through, and you can go over and watch that to see another example. I'm just going to ink the edges just to kind of give it a little darkness, like a shadow around it, just barely. Sometimes that helps kind of help the little bit pop off the page better. And then I bet you anything this doesn't work, but let's have a good laugh. Look, the thing that holds your big book open, hey, it's working. So, yeah, I'm going to just glue this on real quick. If you don't have a stamp that says junk journal or anything like nature, you can go in with one of those kooky things. What is it called? It's like, let me just show you. This thing. I hate this thing. I use it a lot. I still hate it. So I'd rather find a word somewhere made into an acrylic stamp and just buy that. And then I don't have to mess with this. But in a pinch, if I have to spell out a word, that thing sure is handy. I also have those little letters that click together. I don't know where I put them. Oh, here they are. Everything's still down here. I'm reorganizing and reorganizing. But these things work great too. You can get both of these on Amazon. They all clip together. You can clip your words together any old way you want. You can misspell words, like spell check. It'll be great. Trust me. But yeah, so we've got nothing on the front. Uh-oh. I glued it on the wrong page. Talking. Will it come off? No. Okay, we're going to leave it on there. I'm going to use the other one. This is how you fix stuff. You ready? Let's fix it. You find something else that you want to glue for. Ooh, what about a bird? And we'll put this bird on there, and no one will ever know except us. Okay, I'm trimming it just a smidgen. And then this fun little bird came in another, I think it was a Bow Bunny stamp set. And there were very few things in there I wanted. I am really bad about buying stamp sets to get one or two things and then trying to find somewhere to get rid of the others. And I need to do that again. I'm not looking forward to it. I need to just go through and harvest everything I want. Oh, you can still see that green. Not too much. I'm going to glue it on there. And it'll be a nice little tuck spot. And only you and I will know. But yeah, you can fix all that stuff if you glue the word on the wrong page. Good grief. Can't believe I did that. Okay. I just I cut off a little bit somewhere. Sliver. Okay, that one's going to work just fine. No one's going to know except us. So, let's go put the word on the right page this time. There it is. And you never get rid of these little bits with words on them if you don't use them in one project. You save them for another. I have a special box that I save mine in. Maybe I should grab it and show you because it just makes me crack up thinking I can't believe I saved that. Let's ink it so it has a shadow. Just like I did on the other one I just wasted. It was very cool. I could have put it in the other book. I can't believe I did that. So then we grab our art glitter glue because it grabs paper super fast. And we go in and we put journal right up here like that. Yay! Now it's where it's supposed to be. Now we need to put something on here. I think I'm going to put nature on the front of this one too. So I'm going to just ink it a teensy-weensy bit. There's a trick to inking that way if you don't want to make a huge mess. Oh, how am I going to put this word on there? I really like that stump. I think I'm going to put it right there. I'll have to make a video just on that stuff because it's too much information for this particular project. So, okay, we're going to put this right here and hope it's not crooked. Because when you put that art glitter glue on flat paper, oh my gosh, it just sticks. So there, it says nature. We have some beads. Our first page, we have a tuck. And our journal. It's defined as a journal for us. That doesn't mean you have to use it that way. But, yeah, let's see what's... I pulled some little things out that I like to put in these. I like this little mushroom. I might put that little mushroom right there. It's something someone can, whoever ends up with this could take it and put it anywhere they like. That's what's so much fun about these things. You can load up the pockets with all these cute things. So, let's see. I don't know if Noteworthy's going to work anywhere. Maybe we could put that back here in the bird tuck. There. Okay. But it's a little long, so it may not fit inside the box. Yeah, it's a little too long. Let's do this. Let's trim it just a tad. I like this end, so whoever could cut it down the way they want, but that'll help it tuck into the pocket. That would actually be a cute little flip. So, what else do we have? Here's a bee. We can tear out a bee. Trying to get all the little word edges off, any little bits of text. So that's cute. We could put a little bee somewhere. I like him right there. I do tend to, when I'm doing like nature, neutral stuff, I do tend to ink the edges just so your brain can have a break when it moves from one thing to another, because I get migraines looking at some of the stuff people collage sometimes. And I know it's not their fault and it's not my fault, but I like that little break. It kind of cleanses the visual palette. And here there's so much plain paper around the bee that it works. I don't have to ink it. So, let's see. Maybe we'll take half of the ticket and glue it so we can make another little pocket. But basically, you can make tags out of everything. I wish... Ooh, wait. We can take... I thought this would make a cute little something on the cover. It's not really a vignette, but we could... It's got a little sparkle in the green. I don't know if you could see that, because one of the gals who does a lot of crafting, Barbie, she has sprinkly glitter glue she puts on everything, and I tried that and it worked so well. So this is kind of like magical green in the woods. So I'm just going to put a little piece right down here. And then I'm going to just ink the edge here. Trying to be real neat with that. I'm going to glue it on top. But basically, you could make any theme. Tiny micro journal. I think that's crooked. Yep, that's better. But there's just a couple little sparkles right there. I might have to add a few more. But I've done owls before on the boxes. Like I said, the one I gave to Possum Patty's Fairies has an owl on the front. So if you want to see that, I'll have the link in the description below. I also have the word fly. Could put fly back here with this hummingbird. So let's see. Most of these stamps I got from Temu, and they have pretty good deals. Free shipping from China. If you buy $25, they usually tell you how much you have to buy, but usually they give you so many free items. I got 8 this morning, and then I had to spend $25 on other items I wanted anyway. And then if you order and the items are not coming from China, if they're coming from another a warehouse in the United States, you have to pay $2.99 shipping unless you buy, I think it's $30 worth of stuff. I still don't like the cover on this one. I don't think it's interesting enough. I might have to work on that. But that just shows you it fits inside there. And I thought I would come up with an image for this. I just need to find something. I don't think there's any nice little pieces in here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I always need to work on using up some things in other bags. Tons of images from books that I saved. And these look like boys and activities. These do not look like cute little nature images. I could do buffalo. I don't know. I don't think buffalo is going to work for me today on this one. Ooh, that's a fun piece. This one's wider. Maybe this one would fit. Oh yeah, that fits in there. I just have to tear it. So I'm going to put it down in there. And I'm going to make a bend where I've folded it really good. And then I'm just going to tear it. This is not the same ruler. I can tell it's not Tim Holtz's tear ruler for a decollage, but it won't matter because it's going to go right in here. And there. All I have to do is glue it down. And you save the little bits that are left and you put them in your bit box so you have them, because Lord knows you'll always need another little bit of something. So I'm going to glue that in there, and then we can add the little book to the box and feel partially done. It's not completed. It needs a lot more stuff added to it. Like I said, if you really want to see what I have put inside there, a similar book, you can check out Possum Patty's video where she flips through it. It's where she opens the package and she's like, ah, you know, but she has the best energy. She's so funny and so great. So she's a good sport, a real good sport. So there's that. And this book has a long way to go. I'm going to clip these off eventually. But for now, I'm just going to tuck this in here so you can see it fits. I like to also take tiny little butterflies that I punch out of stuff. I think I use my big plate with lots of little butterflies and punch out little butterflies all at one time. And I take two that are identical, and you can glue one on one side of this string and one on top of it from the other side, and it's a cute little butterfly. So yeah, you can do that too. I did that on the one for Possum Patty, or for her fairies. Don't want to get that wrong. So here, it fits. I need to do some more to the outside of those, but you get the idea. And let me see. I'm going to show you the Matchbox Die, if I have it right over here. Okay, I found it. It's still in the bag. This is the Matchbox Die set. And you cut out all these parts and fold them. I'm not going to open this up, but I am going to leave the link to it in the description box below so you can go check it out. I don't remember it being inexpensive. But as soon as I use up all these loose little matchboxes, this is going to be my go-to. And when you have all these little extra words left over, don't throw them away. I am going to throw this one away. I'm not going to save it and stamp on it. I mean, at some point you have to throw things away, like this word art. I love that. But what I do with all of my words is I put them in my password box. I had two of these. I took one apart. And no. I put one in the game area where we have our games. You know, those things we never play, but just in case, like the lights go out, something to do. I have a lot of book pages here that have nice words, things that I like from different books. Most of these were children's books, though, so I really need, you know, I'm not going to cut them out because I found it's easier to kind of scan. Well, we won't even call this a paragraph, a section of a page, and find a word than it is to flip all these over. But I have gobs that I've cut apart in here. I even have a little alphabet stamp set that I can use to spell a word if I'm just sick of looking, because you can spend hours looking for one word. And you know, I said that a book like this takes just as much time to make as a normal sized junk journal. I kid you not. I could spend hours looking for the right word. So this bad boy comes in real handy, and I think I spent 50 cents on that at the thrift store. I love that. But I have words like junk, put in there, art, bugs and flies. I'm going to keep most of this stuff in here with the stamped stuff just because I know it's in there. But yeah, this is what you use. All these crazy things you hoard, you rat hole away in a weird little box. You save these things so you can make mini junk journals. And they're so cute. So I'm probably going to spend the rest of today dressing up this little book, because when I get started, I can't stop.